Hey everybody, John from 2025 here. Today's date is actually August 31st. So the video I'm about to upload, the video you're about to watch, I made in December of 2021. I had just moved to Anchorage, Alaska, and I made a video in regards to my get home bag. So I wanted to upload this again. One, because my channel got deleted, had a bunch of stuff. But I found a couple, like 3 or 4 videos that I had uploaded a long time ago. But the reason I specifically uploaded this one is because I want you to see the difference in this get home bag and the get home bag I'm going to make a video about this week, and I'm going to post hopefully within this week, and kind of take a look at the differences between the bag that I had in Alaska and the bag that I'm going to have here in Central Tennessee. Completely different setups, in regards to, one, how much stuff I have, two, the type of materials I have, and yeah, it's different. But the reason I say this is because depending on your location and your environment, what time of year, etc., just keep in mind the stuff that you may or may not want to have in your get home bag. So anyway, no more talking. I'm going to upload this video and let you guys watch it, and then next week I'll upload something else. All right, guys. Again, hope to see you out there, and like, subscribe, all other crap, and we'll see you out there. Thanks. I'm the waiver survivalist. I got James behind the camera. He's helping me out tonight. So I've wanted to do this video for a couple days. I just haven't had a chance. I apologize. It's been like 2 weeks since I put a video out, but so what I'm doing is I'm going through my get home bag. We're like a quarter of the way into kind of deep winter here in Alaska, and I'm going to put some more cold weather clothing in my bag because this winter is considerably colder than last winter. Generally, I like to either have a pair of jeans like these. These aren't jeans, like a real thick kind of duck canvas, or a pair of blue jeans, and then my shirt and jacket, beanie, gloves. I got all that crap on me, but generally speaking, I need an underlayer to go in this bag, a dry underlayer. Yeah, so kind of my big thing with a bag, I live 8 miles from where I work, so it's not exactly far. I can make that in a couple hours. One of my kids' schools is on my walking path home. My other child's school is about 4 miles past where my house is, but him and I have gone through, if things go sideways, he knows how to get home. He knows when to kind of cut and run. So, but yeah, so my get home bag, this is not a bob, this is not an inch, this is not anything other than getting me from my work home. I could live probably 24 hours out of this comfortably. 48 hours, I would be kind of stretching it. 72, and then shit went way sideways. But yeah, I could probably do 72 out of this. If I absolutely had to, it'd be absolutely miserable the entire time. But it's set up for about 24 hours. Like I said, about 8 miles from point A to point B. So this is my particular bag. I've got one in the Mrs. vehicle that she carries around with her. Again, get home bag only. She packs a little differently than I do. She wears more of a professional clothing, so it's real light material, heels, that sort of thing. So in her bag, we always have a set of jeans, an undershirt, a pair of base layers, a set of socks, and a pair of boots. So in addition to all the other stuff that we carry in the get home bag. So again, hers is set up a little bit different than mine, and that's fine. However your family does it, how your family does it. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through kind of what I have in my bag and or what I have on me and in the truck. So they all kind of go together. If I don't have it physically on me, it's in my truck. If it's not physically in the truck, it's in this bag. So let me get the camera rearranged and we'll kind of go through what I have on me in my truck and then move on to the bag. All right, so kind of back in action here. So physical things I either keep on me or in the truck. fixed blade. And this is a Gerber Principal. A little over 4-inch blade, 3-inch blade. Razor sharp from the factory. It works out real well. What I like about this is I can horizontal carry and vertical carry. All I gotta do is switch out the back thing. A lot of people are not fans of Gerber. I've never had any issues with them. I find this one is extremely sharp and extremely good for what I need it to do. And also I can do bushcraft stuff with it if I need to. That's not the primary purpose. Primary purpose is kind of everyday carry. Yeah, so I've skinned a bear. I actually have 2 of these. I skinned a bear with one of mine, and then I actually just got this one pretty recently ago. So, all right, always have a fixed blade on me. I also always have a flip open. This is, you know, just regular pocket knife stuff. Okay, so moving along, standard Glock 19. It is unloaded. Standard Glock 19. The only thing I've done is add the TLR 7. I live in a state where we get copious amounts of darkness in the wintertime, so I have a flashlight on it. These are home defense rounds, personal carry, or personal defense rounds, whatever you want to call them. And then I have 2 spare mags that I keep in the truck and or on me. I got these this way so I can take them off, put them on very quickly. I have another magazine of personal defense rounds, and then a magazine of full metal jackets. If I know I am going off the beaten path, so to speak, if I step foot in grass or off the road at all, I also have some Buffalo Bore 9mm rounds that I take if I'm going into the woods. So there's that. All right, so getting to the main goodness here. So this is my bag. It is made by Mystery Ranch. It's a Mystery Ranch aid bag. I got it when I was in the Army, used it. I actually have another one just like this still set up as an aid bag, but I transferred this one over to my get home bag. So it has the pocket or the top flap. I've got a couple exterior pockets here, and another exterior down there, and then it opens up and all the goodies inside. So we'll start on the outside, work our way in. So top flap, so I can get to it pretty easily, very quickly. So this is kind of my, like I said, very quickly I can get to stuff. Anchorage map. It's a street map, old school. Paper map. You know, GPS is cool, but GPS you may not have. So always have paper maps. If I'm going anywhere outside of Anchorage, I have other maps that I have in the truck and other maps that I can stick in here. Also have a couple of emergency blankets. So these are like the real, you know, the 99-cent cheap foil emergency blankets. Yes, you can use them as an emergency blanket, like the cool guy on the picture here. You can also use them for heat reflectors if you want to reflect heat back from a campfire, or you can use them to block out daylight or screen something where you don't want light to get out and or in. So there's a lot of different uses for them. So I've got 3 of those up here. Again, real quick, real easy to get to. Another fixed blade. This is kind of my bushcraft fixed blade. Little bigger than my other one. Again, it's a Gerber. People also give me shit because it's got the whole Bear Grylls logo on it. But I will say I've taken this one on multiple cold weather survival trips, both in the Army and personally, and this knife has never failed me. I have seen the Army survival knives, the A6, break in extreme cold. This one does not break. It also comes with a little ferro rod. Again, some people give me shit, some people don't. It works well for me. Whatever works for you, works for you. Then a road flare. So, if I'm walking, why do I need a road flare? Well, signaling. You can use it for fire starting. You can use it for personal defense. You know, who wants to get a road flare to the face? Probably not many people. So yeah, road flares, multiple uses. And then I just have some 550 cord. There's not a lot of it up here. I've actually used the 550 cord out of my bag. I need to replace it. We used it when we were taking care of a moose. A buddy of mine got a moose and we needed some cordage. So, but yeah, so I got that up here. And then I'll kind of put it back as I go. Okay, so that's the top flap. Other times, you know, if it wasn't winter time, I would have a bottle or two of water up here. But thanks to this cold winter we're having, I can't keep this thing in the truck and have liquid water in it at the same time. All right, so bottom pocket, Blizzard survival blanket. So this is my actual good survival blanket. Those other more cheap ones, I don't really hold much weight with. Blizzard survival blankets, absolutely love these things. They work extremely well to trap heat in as an actual blanket. It's actually double layered, and it keeps about an inch, half inch to an inch of air trapped in between. The outside is olive drab, which is a dark green, and then the inside is that silver color. You can make emergency shelters out of them. You can make sleeping bags out of them. You can make an actual blanket out of them. However it is you do it, they work very well. So I always have one of these with me, especially in Alaska. All right, other outside pockets. All right, so I have t-shirt and socks. Because if I get wet, I need t-shirt and socks. Also, it's just another base layer. So you can put those on, helps hold a little warmth to you. And then a military style, but not camel pattern, poncho. Again, this thing is kind of disposable. It's like 1 or 2 use kind of thing, and that's all I need it for. I'm just going 8 miles, point A to point B. So I have that. Also, again, you can make a little bivouac side out of it if you absolutely have to. So they work really well for that. That's what I do like about the military style ponchos. They work really well for making little improvised shelters. All right, other pocket, I've got a pair of work gloves, I have a headlamp, and I have a beanie. Again, Alaska, even in the middle of summer, you could probably still use a beanie because it gets a little chilly real quick. I have a headlamp in there, like I said. I check the batteries pretty routinely, so they still work. And then I also have a mini mag light. You know, the old adage, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Yeah, but you know, again, you could give that to somebody for a little bit of help. Since you have this one, you can use it, hold it out away from you as a signal, or going around a corner, etc., etc. Yeah, multiple uses. It's just a flashlight, guys. But yeah, so I always have my headlamp. I find headlamps are considerably easier to use. You know, I have multiple headlamps all around my house. I've got a couple in the truck. I've got one by my bedside. I've got one, you know, in my jacket that I wear every day. So headlamps are awesome. So that's my exterior stuff. So that's like my need to get to stuff real quick kind of thing. You open it up and, you know, just kind of, it falls open. Okay, so I'll start on the outside here. I have stuff generally labeled, you know, food, medical, survival, fire, water. You could label stuff however it is you can label them, whether it's a piece of duct tape and a Sharpie, however. I just had a friend who knew how to do that stuff, so he hooked me up with some stuff. Alright, so I've got 2 of the same pouches right on the outside flaps here. And this, labeled food, is exactly that. Alright, I've got little licky chewies. Right, then I have some actual meal prep stuff. But even the meal stuff is very light. You can eat it on the go and kind of go from there. These are the, it's called Daytrex, the Coast Guard approved. They're basically sugar cookies. They're about 400 calories per square, and you can eat them on the go. I will say these things are extremely dry. They taste pretty good. Again, it's like a coconutty sugar cookie. It's really good, but it's dry as shit. So you could definitely need some water when you're eating those. The tuna, yeah, I mean, it's tuna. So can't go wrong, right? I got some granola chewy bars. I have some beef jerky sticks. I've got protein bars. You know, just multiple kind of on the go eating foods. And, you know, again, 24 hours, not out of the realm of possibility for this bag. So I've got, like I said, I've got 2 of those, and they generally hold the same stuff. You know, I might have different flavor protein bars, but, you know, again, generally speaking, they got the same stuff. All right, so moving along here. So start at the top. This is my medical bag. So in the medical bag, it's got, you know, the major trauma stuff. You know, I've got combat gauze, I've got H&H compressed gauze, I've got an Israeli dressing, I've got a tourniquet, but I also have my bag of ouchie bag, my boo-boo, right? So I've got some Tylenol, I've got some 800 Motrin, I've got some triple antibiotic ointment, I've got some Dayquil, some Band-Aids, some bigger Band-Aids, you know, just your kind of run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. And then, yeah, so I had some of that. And then this is just an added luxury. Like I said, I go hiking with this a lot. So in this box, it's a hard case. It's a Armadillo medication box. I have medications. All right, so I've got some antibiotics. I've got some injectable antibiotics. I have some antiemetics, some stuff to make you stop throwing up. I've got some, you know, some painkiller stuff in there like Toradol. You know, just kind of stuff I've collected over the years, and yeah, it's good stuff to have. So again, Motrin, that sort of thing. I also have kid-friendly medicines. Well, kid-friendly dosages to medicines, because my youngest is 7, so we need smaller dosages. She can't be, you know, swallowing an 800 milligram Motrin and, you know, going on a rope march. So kind of keep that in mind too. You know, if you have medications in your bag, or, you know, in your car or something, make sure you have kid-friendly meds. So yeah, just kind of take that for what it's worth. You know, we also keep liquid meds for the babies in our vehicles. Yeah, so, you know, it just works well for us. We have a bottle of Motrin and Tylenol for kiddos in each of our vehicles. All right, so the next one down, I call it the survival bag. It's kind of a catch-all term. So right in front there is a big signal mirror. You can use it for shaving, you can use it for signaling, you can use it for a lot of different stuff. And then, even before the pandemic, or so-called pandemic, I kept N95 masks. Right, so if there is like a real contagion, not this COVID bullshit that everybody thinks is whacking people like the Black Plague or Black Death. Yeah, so use around falling debris. You could use it for, you know, if you got to walk through smoky areas so you're not inhaling as much of that shit. In the summer times, we have a lot of forest fires here in Alaska, so that kind of helps out a little bit. Also, going through buildings, you don't know if like rats are in there, you know, whatever. So, a lot of different uses. Then I have off deep woods, right? So, big thing here in Alaska is mosquitoes. So, those are always good. I've got some baby wipes in case you got to do the 2 on the way home. And then a knife sharpener. Oh, sorry. God, I'm old. It's also got a really tiny ferro rod. Yeah, whatever. I don't know how well that thing's going to work, but anyway, knife sharpener. And then a silcock, water cock. So these things are actually pretty neat. So this is kind of a urban survival thing. Won't really do shit in the woods, but so each one of these is a different size valve opening. All right. So on the side of commercial buildings, they all have to have an outside spigot, and that outside spigot takes a special wrench to open. All right. So you get one of these, they're like $9 or $10 at Lowe's, Home Depot, and you always have a source of fresh water in an urban environment. So definitely comes in handy. All right, so then I've got a bunch of chem lights down here. You know, chem lights are always good. And then I have a small fishing kit. In the summertime, fish are everywhere in Alaska. So a lot of different things to catch fish with. And again, like I said, you know, I take this thing out. You know, I do hikes with it. I do a lot of stuff. So, you know, I always have some sort of 24 hours in this bag. I try to keep it modular, so I can, if there's an emergency, I can tell James here, hey, go to my bag, get the medical kit, right? So, and it's labeled medical. So anyway, again, how you do it is how you do it. Next one is fire. All right, so my fire making kit. A lot of different things in this. Fire making is definitely a perishable skill. So every time I go out fishing, out hunting, whatever, I always try to make a fire, just to keep your skills up and going. All right, so these medicine bottles, right, the prescription bottles, it's Vaseline gauze. All right, so Vaseline gauze catches really quick from the ferro rod, and it burns a lot longer than just a normal piece of cotton. I've used this one a couple times, so it's a little low, but yeah, so a lot of things you can do with medication pill bottles. So I'm using these for the Vaseline gauze. You can use them for salt, you can use them for pepper, you can use them for pills, of course, or if you just need to keep something dry, they do pretty well at keeping stuff dry. That sort of thing. Hearing aids go in here very well. I've got a couple sets I've used to keep dry. Okay, so moving along, I got what's called a spark light. Again, these were in my aviation survival vest when I was in the Army. Talked to some of my Aussie guys, got a handful of them. They work really well. And then to complement that, I have a bunch of little cotton balls that actually go with the spark light. They work really well. And then ferro rod, of course. This is my homemade ferro rod. It's a 6-inch rod, 1/2-inch diameter, with a handle, and I just 2-part epoxy that thing in there. And this works really well when it's cold outside and you don't have that fine motor skill in your hands. It's big. I can use my big knife. It creates a lot of big, thick, hot sparks. So works really well when you have gloves on. Also, just some fat wood, some fat lighter. Whatever you call it. Again, catches the spark really well from that ferro rod. And again, road flares. Road flares are good for multiple different things, especially starting a fire when the wood's a little damp. So, and then last but not least, just standard matches. Everybody kind of balks at the humble match, but I took these out of MREs when I was in the Army, and they work well. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, yeah. Anyway, it's kind of the fire making kit. Again, fire making is a perishable skill. So I definitely suggest, every couple weeks, go in the backyard, start a fire. If you're out fishing, try to start a little fire, with what you have on you. See what you can do. So, all right, there's that. And the last internal pouch is my water bag. All right, so water bag, life straw. I actually have a new one that I need to replace. So, last time I used the life straw, it was real hard to suck water through. I think it froze. Go figure in Alaska, right? I think it got frozen. But yeah, so, they're pretty inexpensive. I'm not worried about it. If the $12 it takes to buy this thing breaks the bank, then maybe you should try something else. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, some people aren't there. Don't get me wrong. If you can't afford a life straw, cool. If you can't afford a life straw, get this little bottle. Costs $3. Portable aqua. Some at Walmart. These are just little iodine tablets. So, all right. Anyway, so I have my container, a water source, and inside that water source, I have portable aqua. I think there's like 30 tablets in here, something like that. Maybe 50. I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of them, right? And you put 1 tablet per quart of water. Wait 30 minutes, and you're good to go. I also have some of these. These are not iodine tablets. They are potassium something. I don't know. I'd have to look it up again. Oh, here it is. Micro Pour Forte. Silver chloride. Try something soda. Anyway, again, one one per quart of water, and you're good to go. And then I just have some nice to have stuff. All right, some Propel packets, and then some electrolyte elixir that goes. It's for a Camelback, but look at all that powder. It's just electrolytes. Keep you moving, keep your body happy. And those are really nice to have, especially when you're drinking chemical water. It'll taste a whole lot better if you put that electrolyte powder in. So yeah, so there's really not much in my water kit. Again, Alaska we get a lot of rain, and then in the winter we get snow. So yeah, that's kind of that. Again, that's my get home bag. Alright, so sorry, little camera malfunction there. Yeah, so that's kind of my get home bag. And again, the missus has her bag set up completely different than this one. Kind of lessons learned. I am going to vacuum seal a set of base layers. So I'll put a pair of my Army issue silks in here. They actually work really well if you use it correctly. Yeah, so that's kind of, again, my get home bag. 24 hours, 48 hours, stretching it, 72 hours, absolute max. I can get from point A to point B from my work home probably within about 2 hours. So that's 8 miles if I'm booking it. I know I can do that. Even I sprained my ankle about a month and a half ago. Even with that sprained ankle, I know I can make 8 miles in 2 hours. It's not difficult. But it may take longer than that, depending on how sideways things went. What catastrophe, insert your SHTF fantasy here. So yeah, it is what it is. So I would highly suggest you guys go through whatever bag you have, whether it be a get home bag, whether it be a bob, which is a bug out bag, or an inch bag, I'm never coming home, that sort of thing. Go through your bag periodically. I try to do it in the fall and in the spring, so I can switch out clothes if I need to. I can wash the clothes that were in there, make sure the food's not gone bad, check on the water purification tablets. If I need to replace the water purification tablets or the Life Strong, or I need more Vaseline gauze. There's all kinds of reasons to kind of put stuff in here, or at least go through it. Also, it just familiarizes yourself with your own bag. All this stuff here weighs just below 20 pounds. It's not a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, the concept for this bag is just, it's just a get home bag. So yeah, that's kind of my setup. If you have any suggestions on things I should put in here, give me a holler. If you have something that you think I should take out, give me a holler. If you're like, dude, you are completely effed up, you should rethink your entire concept, let me know. Yeah, so that's me. That's my bag. Remember, like, share, subscribe, whatever, man. Just kind of spread it around. That would be awesome if everybody just kind of forward it to different people, especially if you think they'll get something out of it. That's kind of why I do this. I just like giving away information. I like teaching, that sort of thing. So yeah, hit me up if you got any suggestions. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you, and we'll see you guys out there. All right, take it easy.